Guys, good morning. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's 5:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast this Saturday. At 5 degrees outside. It's a cold Saturday here in Connecticut on the East Coast. All right, so we knew Trump wouldn't stay quiet for long. Okay, so Barr did the interview, as we all saw. I believe it was on ABC the other day, where he kind of reprimanded Trump, saying that he can't do his job with a constant background noise, running commentary from Trump's little tweeting fingers, constantly commenting on what he's doing in his cases. Now, before I get into Trump and his tweet, I think it's not it. It wasn't just me, because as soon as I saw that interview with Barr, I had to ask myself, is this for real? Is this man being for real? Is he actually showing some intestinal fortitude, some morals, some trying to actually do his job in an unbiased fashion? Is this sincere? I asked myself, and apparently I'm not the only one. A lot of people think it was calculated, trying to save his as Attorney General. It's very important. I think that it's, to him at least, that he looks impartial, that he doesn't look like he's just another one of Trump's lapdogs. And so the question is, how sincere was Attorney Barr's statements the other day? For a while, I have to admit, I even wondered if it was if Trump and Barr had got together beforehand and discussed this. But you know what? I ruled that out, because I started thinking about it, and Trump's personality, in no way could that allow for him to be played. You know, in other words, there's no way that he would go to Attorney Barr and say, look, you're going to have to go on TV and kind of reprimand me for my tweets, just to make it look like, we're not doing this. You know what I mean? There's no way that Trump would volunteer to play the heavy and take criticism. That's not in his nature. So I ruled that out. Then I thought about, well, what do you think? Barr maybe went to Trump beforehand and said, look, I'm going to have to say something about this. I'm looking bad. I'm going to mention something, nothing. It's nothing personal, but we got to look like we're doing a job here. And I thought about that too. And again, I just don't believe that Trump would willingly allow for that situation, for him to be reprimanded on his tweets. I think deep down, Donald Trump knows what he looks, so that his tweeting is a source of embarrassment for a lot of people. It's juvenile. It's obsessive compulsive, and deep down, I think he knows this. I'm willing to bet he's got a very sore spot for anybody that reprimands him on this, because deep down he knows he can't control this. He constantly, if anybody says anything about him, he needs to go right to that Twitter feed and comment and redirect or redraw the situation in his favor. It's definitely a psychological issue with him, very obsessive compulsive, and because he knows that there's millions of people watching, reading those tweets, and he needs to control every little bit of how he's viewed. It's an amazing display of ego and obsessive compulsive behavior every day with him. But anyway, back to his tweet now. So I knew. So more than likely, Attorney Barr, I'm guessing this is it. More than likely, Attorney Barr, he knows he looked bad. He knows he looks like he looked like he's doing favors for Trump, trying to get Oliver Stone out of trouble. So he had to kind of save his rep a little bit and go on TV and say this and blame it on Trump, or kind of tell Trump to back off. And the second thing I started to think is, there is just no way in hell that Trump is going to keep his mouth shut, or his little tweeting fingers off that keyboard. There's just no freaking way, And sure enough, and I'm sure there was a tweet. They said it was in the early morning hours Friday. I think it was Friday, early morning hours Friday. And I'm sure that's just going to be one of many, where Trump said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that he can interfere or comment on federal cases, something to that effect, that it's his job, that he has the right. Oh, he has the right to do that. It is legal, or he has the right to do this, to interfere in federal cases, which of course brings up the separation of the checks and balances of the three powers: the executive, judicial, and so forth, legislative. And as usual, Trump just doesn't get it. And again, it's leaning towards authoritarianism again with him. That he needs to control everything, and especially control the way he's viewed. It's scary. So anyway, it didn't take him long to comment. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last of his comments on this. But the big question I had in my head, and I think a lot of other people did too, is how sincere was Attorney General Barr in his comments. The fact that he dared to reprimand Trump showed some testicular fortitude, I guess you could say. But like I said, and that made me wonder if it was planned. But Trump is definitely not capable of taking any kind of criticism, willingly or not willingly. So I'm guessing here that this is just the first in many tweets where Trump will say that it's his right and his job and his duty to get involved in the justice system, which it's not. It's just authoritarianism again. So anyway, those are my thoughts today on Attorney General Barr and his claims of just trying to do his job. All right, you guys have a good Saturday.